The melodic minor scale is a great tool for adding new and interesting sounds to a minor blues. Today we're going to look at this scale as well as some of the modes derived from it to see how we can start adding these sounds to the different parts of a minor blues progression. For this, we're going to work through a solo I wrote and transcribed that demonstrates several different uses of this scale, as well as some of the melodic minor modes like the altered scale, Lydian Dominant, and Locrian natural 2. First, let's play down the solo, and then we'll start breaking it down. So this solo starts off with a pretty basic minor pentatonic phrase, and then it goes right into a phrase derived from the A melodic minor scale. The melodic minor scale is essentially a minor scale with a raised 6th and raised 7th degree. This gives it a really bright sound over these minor chords, and also opens the door for some really interesting arpeggio options. This first line is derived from an A minor major 9 chord, starting on the 9th and then going down to the major 7th, the 5th, the flat 3rd, the 9th, and the root. Then I come up and play sort of a bluesy phrase using the raised 6th and then down to the flat 3rd. So again, using that major 7th and major 6th from the melodic minor scale. In bar 4 of the solo, I'm superimposing an A dominant 7th sound to build tension to resolve to the 4 minor chord. This is a common use of a secondary dominant chord where A7 is functioning as the dominant 5 chord of D minor. For this, I'm using the altered scale, the A altered scale, which is the 7th mode of the melodic minor scale. So it's the exact same notes as B flat melodic minor. And again, I'm playing a line that's sort of using that B minor major 9 arpeggio. And then I'm resolving to a chord tone of our D minor chord. So resolving to A, which is the 5th scale degree of D minor 7. For the next part of this solo, I'm using a minor 2-5-1 cadence to get back to the 1 chord. For this, I'm using a B half diminished chord to an E7 chord, and then resolving back to A minor. Now, the great thing about 2-5-1 lines is that even if the backing track or the band isn't playing these chords, you can still imply this harmony to create some really interesting lines in your playing. Now, for the B half diminished chord, I'm using another mode of the melodic minor scale, the Locrian natural 2 scale. Now this is the same notes as a D melodic minor scale. So that would be D melodic minor, but starting on B we get, which is a really great sound over that half diminished chord. Then for the E7 chord, I'm playing E altered, which is the same notes as F melodic minor. So Now this is a split bar with only 2 beats for each chord, so there's not a lot of time to really flesh out the sound of these scales. But we can still weave together some interesting notes to create a really colorful line over these chords. Now after this, I'm back to playing blues over the 1 minor chord, but incorporating that raised 6th in there to give it kind of a little bit of a melodic minor sound. Now the next chord in the progression is F7, the flat 6 dominant chord. Now this chord is really tailor-made for another melodic minor mode, the Lydian Dominant scale. So this is the 4th mode of melodic minor and shares the same notes as C melodic minor. But the way I've always thought about a flat 6 dominant chord is as the tritone substitution of the 2 chord. So the tritone of B7, which would be the 2 dominant chord in the key of A. And so you can think of this Lydian Dominant scale almost like a B altered scale, which is really handy because we're going to E7. That is the next chord in the progression. So you can play lines that you would play from B7 to E7, just like if you were playing a dominant blues in the key of B, right? Right, and that all works over F7 going to E7, just like it does from B7 going to E7. Only instead of playing B altered, we're now playing the F Lydian Dominant scale. So I play a line like this in the solo. Really fleshing out the sound of that scale, and then again finding chord tones from the E7 to resolve to the 3rd and the root of E. So to wrap up this chorus of the solo, I play some more A minor pentatonic blues, and then over the final E7 chord, I hit the flat 9 or the F note over that chord to give it a little bit of an altered flavor. Over the second round of the solo, I play a little bit busier A melodic minor line over the A minor chord. Since it's the second time through the solo, I want to start building it up by adding some busier phrases. So again, a minor line, but really emphasizing that major 7th note from the melodic minor scale. Then I'm right into another A7 altered lick to superimpose the sound of an A7 altered chord moving to the D minor chord, the 4 minor. So again, really hitting those altered notes over this A7 altered chord and then resolving to some chord tones of D minor 7 chord. And I'm hitting this 9th over the D minor chord, which is a sound I really like over that chord. Then this time over the minor 2-5-1 heading back to A minor, I play again the D melodic minor scale over our B half diminished chord or the Locrian natural 2 scale, and then E altered or F melodic minor over the E chord. And for that I play so again, kind of outlining those major minor 9 arpeggios. There's a D major minor, minor major 9 arpeggio. And again, kind of hitting that A minor 9 sound with that B note over the A minor chord. Then I'm back into some A minor pentatonic blues with the raised sixth over the A minor chord. Kind of quoting an earlier phrase from earlier in the solo. And then over the F7, we're back into Lydian Dominant, and I play again, finding chord tones as we resolve to E7. And then over this E7 chord, I really flesh out the E altered sound with and that brings us back to the A minor, again with that major seventh over the A minor chord. And then I repeat that phrase down an octave. And then that brings us back to the final E7 where I play another minor major 9 arpeggio lick. Hopefully by analyzing this solo, you've learned some new ways to start using the melodic minor scale. Obviously, you can go much deeper into each one of these modes and cadences like the minor 2-5-1. But hopefully this lesson gives you some insight into how versatile this scale is and how it can add some new sounds to your vocabulary. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.